What's happening, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of Phightin Words. Anthony SanFilippo's here. I'm Bob Wankel. Anthony, Phillies take care of business down in Miami, win 3 out of 4. I think that's all you can really ask for. Great starting pitching from Ranger Suarez. Great starting pitching from Christopher Sanchez. Mick Abel going back to the start of the series was really good. And Jesus Luzardo, all right, whatever. You look at this team now, they've won 8 of their last 10 going into this series with the Mets. And I asked you a question roughly a week ago, which was, if by the end of this series, you know, the Phillies are within what, is it acceptable? And we had this conversation, like how much does this series matter? I went and got my coffee this morning. I turned on WIP, and within 2 seconds it was, is this a must-win series for the Philadelphia Phillies? And my answer to this now is no, it's not. And like, it will be annoying as all hell if this team does not win this series. But in the grand scheme of things, you have shaved off 5 games, 5.5 games over the last 8 days.
6
to draw
days.
this thing even.
6 days. In the last 6 days, they've knocked off 5.5 games. Look, it wouldn't have been a must-win series unless they were still 5.5 games out, right? That would be the only way I'd sit there and go, okay, this is kind of must-win if you want to win the division. But even that is just the caveat on it. Like, it wouldn't have been a must-win at all because they were still going to be in the playoff race. Nothing bothers me more than calling a series in June a must-win series. But the reality of it is, based off that conversation we had, they could get swept and be where
we deemed it to be acceptable, which is stay within 3 games out. Yeah, you could get swept, and we were thinking that was probably going to be the best case scenario, but not realizing that the Mets were going to get swept by the Rays and struggle in Atlanta. And by the way, the Braves are now like up off the mat a little bit, and here they come. So, and then those 2 teams I think play for 4 next week. So Atlanta can really get back into this thing real quick if they stay hot. But I mean, look, it's a big series. It's a big series. It's a fun series. It's a series that is probably going to be wild. The stadium atmosphere is going to be electric. The Phillies certainly owe this team one. I think that these games are going to be met with a closer eye and more criticism and maybe more overreaction if it goes positively in the Phillies' favor. Like, this is a great series, and it's so much fun. And the way that this division is just going up and down and up and down, it's been a total, I mean, it is a roller coaster. So it's awesome. Everyone should be fired up, ready to go, want blood, the whole deal. But if the Phillies lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, I know what's going to happen. We'll talk on the show and we'll poke them apart and stuff. And I think we'll probably do it with some nuance, but it's going to be, this team blows. This team sucks. See? And if the Phillies win this series, it's going to be like, Phils are all the way back. All the way back. Exercise the demons.
Do you think so?
I think if they sweep them, yeah. Yeah, if they sweep them, I do.
Because I still think even if they win the series 2 out of 3, I still think you'll get a lot of positivity, but I still think there will be that faction of people that say, well, let me see them do it in October.
Well, barring injury, right? Barring something like catastrophic that really changes the dynamic of the roster, regardless of what happens this weekend, Monday, you're going to show up and say the starting pitching's really good. Even if they're not good this weekend, starting pitching's really good. They are very thin in the bullpen, and offensively, they have some holes. Like, the reality of what they are and their ability to compete in October is not going to change in 3 games against the Mets this week. And I know people don't want to hear that. And I'm not here to like throw cold water on the excitement of the series, because again, like I'm pretty amped up. So far as June baseball series go, I'm all in. Like, this is a big one. But again, like, it is about October, and you're not going to learn anything about October this weekend, one way or the other. You're just not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100% about that. And it's funny because I know everybody's amped up. When my boys never ask me for Phillies tickets, never say, Dad, can you get tickets? They never do. They're adults. They're on their own. They usually get their own thing, whatever. I got a text message after the Mets lost last night. Dad, you think you can grab 2 tickets for tomorrow? Yeah. So I know if they're excited for something like that, I know that's probably what the overarching feeling is of fans in this town.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I get it. Like it's warranted. It's fun. It's exciting. And I am really interested to see what the Phillies have for the Mets this weekend. From a narrative standpoint, from a fan feeling standpoint, it's quite large. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun and to kind of see where this thing goes. I don't know where you want to start this morning. I think I'm still in a state of shock over what we've seen in the division over the last week. I mean, I did say I've pumped up the Mets. I know I kind of turned into the cooler on them a little bit here. But I did say I thought that they were in a tough situational spot in their schedule. Like, you run through all the cupcakes, you play the Rockies twice, you play the White Sox, you get the Dodgers JV starting pitchers out in LA for 4 games. They inflate the record, they get up to 20 games over. And then I said, this gets a little tough though now, because Tampa can play a little bit. And then you have a desperate Braves team, and we saw how that played out. Now you have the Phillies here that want to owe the Mets one a little bit at Citizens Bank Park this weekend. And then you have the Braves again, still desperate, now playing with some momentum, trying to claw their way back into the playoff picture once they leave Philadelphia. It's a tough spot for the Mets. But it's not just, they're playing better teams and they're cooling off and coming back to the norm. It's just that the starting pitching, which has been a significant strength of that team for the bulk of this season, it's starting to thin out now with Senga down and McGill down. Like, it's getting a little bit dicey now for this Mets team.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I've been trumpeting since the beginning of the season that there will be regression with the pitching staff as a whole. And more so to me, their bullpen, I kind of thought the regression was coming. Yeah, the starters, I mean, there's guys there that are okay. They were pitching over their heads, but they're at least okay. Like, I mean, I look at the David Petersons and the Griffin Cannings of the world. Like, I look at those guys and go, they don't excite me, but they can at least be decent, keep you in games, whatever. And if you have a good enough team around them, they're not hurting you. It was the bullpen that I looked at and said, there's no way these guys keep it up all year. There's just none. And it's starting. I think that's where you're starting to see the leaks.
Is there a guy specifically, like, if you're a Phillies fan, amped up for this series? And we always are retroactive. We always go back and look at what has happened, and we'll do that here shortly. But, like, let's keep the main thing, right? Like, is there anything this weekend that I'm, as a Phillies fan, looking at and saying, like, be aware of this guy? Like, they've had some success out of the bullpen, like Braziban, right? Like, he was terrible last night. He had been awesome. Is that a guy that you're like, yeah, he's coming back to earth? This is more what he is? Like, who is it that is specifically overachieving in your mind where, like, they are due for the regression?
Yeah, well, I mean, Braziban is A1 on my list of that bullpen. Another guy was Max Kranick, but he's hurt now. He's on the IL, right? He's got problems. So I think that's another guy that I would have been surprised if he kept going. Reed Garrett, like, I mean, he's been phenomenal for them this year, but I still don't think it's all that good. He walks way too many guys. He's walking 5 batters per 9 innings. I mean, it's crazy. Just take pitchers against that guy. Ryan Stanek, like, he's starting to really fade. He got off to a good start, and he's starting to fade. And then what else do they have in that pen? Like Jose Buto? Okay. Meh. I've never been an Edwin Diaz guy. I mean, I know his numbers aren't bad, but I've never thought he was this. Well,
let me put you on the spot here. A twofold put you on the spot question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how aggressive do you think that the Phillies will be at the deadline in adding meaningful pieces to this roster? In terms of their attempt, whether or not they net the players, that's one thing. But, like, do you expect them to be at an 8, 9, 10? And hey, we're here. We're 15 games over. We've got some holes, and if we fix them, we're pretty damn good, and we have a shot. Or do you think that they kind of middle it?
Yeah, and Joe Karmazin asked a very similar question. How do you think the Phillies should address the bullpen at the deadline? 1 right-hander, 1 left-hander. I don't think they're adding a left-hander via trade. I don't. And it's because they have 3 lefties in their starting rotation, and one of them is going to end up in the bullpen. So you're going to have Strom, Banks, and whatever lefty starter is not starting games.
Does that scare you at all? Because I love the direction we're going today. We're all over the place. But, like, let's talk about this. Banks. Does he instill you with a significant degree of confidence?
No, but I mean, if he's pitching fourth, fifth inning,
sure, and he's your second or third guy, situationally speaking,
I'm fine.
fine, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Here's the question, and he was a guy that I wanted to get to at some point in this show. I want to keep the vibes, the V word. I want to keep the vibes up on this one, but if we're like going down the concern list a little bit, Matt Strahm, just we've done this before. He doesn't stink. He's not a bum. He's not a disaster. You can't like say that, oh, he's horrible. It's none of that. It's none of those things. However, he right now is just not a high leverage, dependable arm on a consistent basis. Like he I know like reads the old timeline quite a bit. And I think he's pretty aware of what people say about him. I don't know whether or not he's fair about it or if he's like delusional about it, but like if he's being honest with himself, he's not that guy right now. Can he get there? Yeah, maybe. Has he been that guy? Absolutely. But right now, hold your breath.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a little bit of concern with Matt Strahm. It's not, oh my God, man the lifeboats. Like, I don't think it's that bad. But at the same time, I do see the same thing that you're seeing. I think that he's also kind of being asked to be the number 2 guy when he's better being the number 3 guy. Does that make sense?
Therein lies the question, or herein lies the question. If he's not the number 1 guy or the wipeout lefty that you can go to in the 8th or 9th inning, depending where the pocket of the lineup is, are you counting on a Luzardo transition to the bullpen in October to be that guy? Are you counting on the Suarez transition to be that guy? And like, it's getting to a point now with Ranger Suarez. Again, we've been down this road before. He was awesome. He was probably the best starting pitcher in baseball for 2.5 months last year and then got hurt and it was never the same. I don't want to fool myself into thinking that we can just pencil in dominance here on out, or that he might not need a breather, or he may not be a bullpen piece later in the season. But right now, it's hard to conceptualize taking a guy that has been like Paul Skeens level productive over the last 2 months and saying like, go be our 8th inning guy, who, by the way, isn't a wipeout guy.
No, I agree. And it's really kind of fascinating. Like, I had this conversation I was on WIP last night with your favorite Jody Mack. And we had this conversation because he was asking me these hypotheticals, like about the rotation and, what do you do with the rotation in October and everything. And I said, we can't really talk about it now. Like it's easy to sit here and say, if I had to make the decision today, because you're basing it on today, right? Let's see. And like you said, you don't know what Ranger's going to be come September, but let's see what they all are come September. Is Sanchez still pitching as dominantly as he has the last couple of starts? What's Luzardo look like in September? What's Ranger look like in September?
Sure.
Like one of them,
but yeah,
it's probably going to drop off a little bit, right?
It's really more not so much about what you're going to do when you get to September, and it's more like, do you have to go out and get an external piece in July, or are you going to leave it up to the situational development and say, all right, now we're going to pluck this guy and go get him with Banks, Strahm, and then insert your lefty starter who's been converted here? And is that enough? Or do you have to go out and get ahead of it and be like, yeah, we have to go out and get something a little bit more?
So let me counter with this argument back and ask it. I'm going to ask a question as a counter argument, but and this is something I kind of think leads into one of the topics we wanted to get to today, which has to do with Orion Kerkering. If you go out and trade for a back end of the bullpen arm who happens to be right-handed, right? And then you have 2 hammers that are right-handed, and Strahm's the third guy as a lefty, and you have a starting pitcher who can kind of be high leverage as well as a 4th guy that's out there. Does that work for you? Does it have to be that your second best reliever is left-handed? Can the 2 best relievers be right-handed and the 3rd best reliever be left-handed? I think that's where we kind of get lost in this a little bit because, well, Strahm's got to get out the lefties. Okay, I get it. But, if your 2 best relievers are right-handed, regardless of who's batting, does that really matter as much? And so that's the question that I have.
Right. And I think that's the question the Phillies are going to have to answer. The other part of it, too, is I want difference makers here. I do. And I also am living in a world where I don't want the Phillies to empty the tank and go all in terms of flipping prospects to triple down on 2025. So in a perfect world, go get a wipeout left-hander, go get another nasty right-hander, go get a leadoff type, or go get a middle of the order bat. Like, go give me all three of these things and like, let's go win a World Series, but at what cost, you know? So I don't know how you play it. The reason why I asked the question, though, I said like, it's a two-part question leading to a larger one. How aggressive are the Phillies going to be? Again, just give me a number then. Just give me a number. 1 to 10. How aggressive are they going to be?
7.
Okay. How aggressive do you think the Mets are going to be at the deadline?
About the same.
Okay, about the same. So then,
and the reason I say that, Bob, is because very few guys. I mean, everybody saw the Devers trade last week. We talked about it, and like, oh my God, look, star players can get traded. But that is the exception, not the norm. Very few guys with term and value on their contracts are going to get moved at the deadline. Very few, if any. So really, you're looking at guys who are last year of their contract, or, you know, if they have maybe 1 year left, it's an option or whatever. It's like, you're not moving star players at the deadline. So you could be aggressive and go get pieces that you need to help your team. But I don't think anybody's going out and getting a huge difference-making player, right? I think that at the best, the most difference-making players that you get traded at the deadline are usually a bullpen piece. Sometimes it's a starting pitcher. But I mean, if you go back and look at the trade deadlines over the last several years, like, what move did you look at and go, oh man, that was the difference in that team winning a championship or going to the World Series? Like, it just isn't there. You don't find it. So these teams are going to be aggressive in the sense that they're going to try and fill their holes, but they're not going to be with star players.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that, and I hear you on all of that. The one thing that really just kind of gives me pause when you look at, and I just kind of want to wrap.
By the way, we have a Mets fan checking in, Armand, who says he agrees. They're going to be a 7 at the deadline.
Smart guy, fair and balanced, Anthony SanFilippo, no doubt. So two quick things before we transition this conversation forward. Strom, last year, to me, the sinker is the issue here. And if like you dive into the numbers, like that's what it's all about. Like the velocity is down. It's down by a mile per hour. And the four-seam fastball is down by about 1.5 miles per hour, per hour. So you go, okay, like that's a fairly decent drop. He's still having some success with the fastball. It's the sinker where he's getting killed. Like opponents last year hit 223 against the sinker and they slugged 265 against it. They're hitting 320 against it this year. They're slugging 400, and the expected slug is 626. Like, I don't know if it's not enough like late explosion. There's not as much like drop and run. I don't know what it is, but it went from being a plus pitch for him to being a net negative. And I don't know if it's so simple to say like, hey, I just got to execute better. I don't know if that velocity decline is all the difference in the world. We're not talking about 2.5 miles per hour here. So it's strange to me because like the stuff, it's down a little bit, but I'm surprised that it's had this much of an impact on his performance. And again, it's not to say that he's been bad. It's not to say that he's been horrible or anything like that, but he just hasn't been nearly the same guy. He just hasn't been.
Well, and I think that I think when you look at what he was a year ago, it's funny because
it's a career year, right? Like maybe he's above what he is. That's fine.
What I was going to point out. Like I've been working on this project, and I'll talk about it here just for a minute because I think it's fun. So since I kind of took over being the lead guy for you a couple years ago, down at the ballpark, I track every game that I cover because I like to have my a scorebook by my computer at my side when I'm writing a story, being able to reference something, pull it up, really easy because I wrote it. I took notes as opposed to searching for something online. So it's just right there and it's handy. So this weekend, I will be covering the 162nd game since taking over for you. So I thought, let me put together what are these? What did these players have they done at games that I've only covered?
Are we going to get on the YouTube stream? Are we going to break into a montage here?
Yeah. So no, we'll talk about this probably next week. We'll kind of get into some of the fun numbers that I'm finding. But Matt Strom is an interesting guy. And the reason I bring this up is because Matt Strom in 23, I mean, yeah, he started off as a starter, right? He had a stretch in there in 23 around this time of the year. Again, he was transitioning back to being a reliever from being a starter, where he was just as leaky, right? He was giving up home runs.
Yeah.
And he was like every time he came in, it was like, okay, solo home run, but he's giving up a home run in 1 inning or 1 1/3. And you're sitting there saying to yourself, man, is this guy, should they have taken him out of the rotation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. As we know, it goes forward and he becomes better reliever as this year progresses. Then he has the career year in 24. I think he's kind of getting back to where he was in 23, which was still a valuable reliever, still a good reliever, but not an all-star reliever. And I think that when we're looking at his numbers, we got to sit there and go, okay, he's not an all-star reliever anymore, but is he still useful and valuable in the bullpen, including in the playoffs? Yes. Maybe he has to be a little bit different with his sinker usage because he's getting hit so hard on it, and they have to figure that out over the course of the next couple months. But I don't look at Matt Strahm as a guy going, oh man, I'm going to be, blessing myself and praying that he's going to get us through in the playoffs, because he's not that kind of pitcher just yet.
Fair enough. Since we're in the bullpen right now, let's just go to one of the places that and don't worry, if you tuned in to get our takes on Nick Castellanos and Rob Thompson,
it's coming.
It's coming. We'll give it to you. It seems like he's not getting the movement or the full velocity, which as a combination is not a good thing. Yeah, I mean, again, like I haven't gotten into the numbers and the spin and all of that to that degree, but certainly it looked like there was a 93 out of his hand looked like 96, was performing like it was 96 last year. And right now, 93 out of his hand looks like it's performing at 93. That's like the best way for me to say it to a general audience, I guess. Orion Kerkering gets his first career save the other night and then backs it up last night and actually got 4 outs because Alec Boehm booted a routine ground ball. Is he the new closer? Is he just pencil Kerkering in for the 9th? What are we doing here?
Well, that's the big question, Bob. Like, is he the new closer right now? Yeah, right now he is.
He's their best reliever, right? Like,
yes.
No doubt about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, I mean, he's 18 straight games without giving up a run, right? I mean, so he's pitching his rear end off. What I ask is he the closer when it matters in October? And that I don't know yet. I think that they're trying it out, see how it goes. First 2 tests, he's gotten the job done. Let's see over the course of the next month. And then because that will ultimately determine what direction you go in at the deadline. Are you trading for a closer, or are you just trading for a big arm for the bullpen?
Can I push back on this a little bit in a way? I don't want to be critical of him because he's been very good. And I think that when he came up, it was just this idea that this guy might be the best reliever in baseball. Watch him go to work. And he struggled a little bit against the Diamondbacks, and he's had some letdowns and big moments for this team. But overall, I mean, you look at his career performance to date, you're like, this is a solid, very well above average major league relief pitcher. And I think that he is more than capable of getting outs consistently in the 9th inning. Like, I think he's got it. I do. On this team, though, this year, with what's at stake, left-handed, right-handed, underhanded, I don't care. I need another guy here that I feel great about in the 9th inning. And if Kerkering continues to be awesome, then let him slide back into an 8th inning type of situation. Like, I really want another guy that I feel like can go out and get consistent outs in the 9th inning out of this bullpen. That's what I want. That's what I want at the deadline more than anything else. I'd really like 2 of them, but I would take a premium guy for the 9th. Kerkering becomes a really exciting interchangeable option in the 7th, 8th, depending on where you're at in the lineup. Get me another guy to match with him, and then go to work. And then now Strahm and Romano are like the 4th and 5th options out of the bullpen, not the 2nd and 3rd. Like that's what I want. And Kerkering, I don't care if he doesn't give up a run between now and the deadline. I still want that 9th inning guy.
And that's fine. That's fair. It's totally fair, because and not to keep bringing up what I've been, working on that project, but at that time, there were 2 guys who were lights out for the Phillies. And we're talking, this is in the summer of 23, leading into the deadline. And those 2 guys in the bullpen who were lights out were Gregory Soto and Craig Kimbrell. How did they work out? So you could be spot on with this. Hey, this is great. This is all good for right now. but let's make sure we have other arms so that if he fails, we have other people we can rely on.
So here's a question, and this is a name I think you're going to hear a lot between now and the deadline. And I mean, Aroldis Chapman's given up 5 earned runs in 34 games this year. He's been awesome. He's exactly what the Phillies need. I don't see it. I think that the off the field stuff with him, I think the Phillies are pretty, I would think, not super enthusiastic about going down that road. Do you want to tackle this one?
I mean, look, they're very big about fit in the clubhouse, and this may not be a fit in the clubhouse. And so I don't think they go down that road. I'm also not sure he's available at the deadline, if we're being honest. I mean, it's not like they're out of the playoff race, right?
Yeah. I know after they said, hey, we're still in it. We still feel like we can win games, maybe even win more games this year. I said, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not convinced he's available, but is he the kind of guy that you would want, that you're looking for? Sure. I don't necessarily think, I still think they need a right-handed arm at the back.
Yeah.
More so than a left. Again, because I think I'm okay.
I wouldn't do it. I mean, I
wouldn't either.
All things considered. I just wouldn't do it. But I get it.
I'm okay with the notion of putting a starter back there that can get the job done. But I don't think that they have a right-hander who can do that. So that's where I say go get a right-handed closer. And who knows who that guy is right now? Because right now there's 6 teams that are out of it, 7 teams that are out of it. I mean, and do any of them have a guy other than maybe Mason Miller in Oakland or the A's, whatever? Like, and even he's not had a great year. Like, that's really it. I mean, that's who else are you talking about? Maybe Felix Bautista in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to trade him because he's got control left. Like, what do they think of their future, like, beyond this season? I think that they still think they're going to be good, so maybe he's not available. So, like, who else? So right now, I mean, if you're looking at who's going to be available from these bad teams, the names that excite me the most, the name that excites me the most isn't even a hammer back end closer, and that's like a Dennis Santana from the Pirates, right? I mean,
didn't he have a little issue out in the bullpen last night? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
took a swipe at a fan or something.
Yeah, apparently the fan crossed the line.
I'm sure the fan had provoked it. So I'm not saying it wasn't warranted, but I mean, is there a world where they just say, you know what? Yeah, we get it. You guys want another bullpen arm. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go Abel. We're going to convert him. We just think that's a better option than trading for somebody and then giving up a guy like Abel to get that guy. And we're going to convert one of our left-handed, surplus of starters into the bullpen. And actually that's how we're going to go about it. And we'll plug it with like one mid-level guy. And then here's your 3 reinforcements. And that's it. Is that on the table, you think?
I think it is on the table.
If they do that, they better go out and get a bat, though, because like if that's the plan, and then they're like, "Here's your offense," come on.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. Now, I think the Phillies will do something this year. I don't think that it'll be a around the edges. I mean, it will
I'm actually going to hit you.
It will be around the edges, but I think that they will do something a little bit more substantive than they have in the last 2 years.
I'm going to hit you with a little bit of like a takey conversation here because I'm going to get to the Castellanos thing in a second. But before I do, you said my boy Jody Mack. I just want to be very clear. I have no issue with Jody Mack. The story there is that
I know you love Jody Mack.
I'm a Jody Mack guy. I actually really enjoy Jody Mack. Yeah. I just want to point out. We go to a local watering hole every Monday night. And a lot of times Jody's doing like the 10, 11 o'clock shift and we carpool. And so when I'm in the car, I'm not driving and he's on the radio, I send you voice memos in the car, kind of doing the Jody Mack thing down at Citizens Bank Park, Phil's Mets this weekend. And like, it's a thing that I've been doing for a couple of years. And that's why Anthony made that comment. I got a text from someone who was like, what's your problem with Jody Mack? No problem with Jody Mack. I just like doing his voice after a couple beers. That's all. All right. So
sorry for the confusion. Your buddy who
make sure that Radio Wars, Wankel versus Jody McDonald. All right, Nick Castellanos, would you trade him?
I mean,
would you trade him? Like, would you just get him out of here
right now?
Yeah. Just get him out of here before the deadline. What's he going to be? $30 more million? Just pay $20 million, get him out of here.
How are you replacing that?
What are you replacing?
So here's the thing, Bob. Here's the thing, right? You look at this team right now, and it's got flaws. Okay, if you're getting rid of Nick Castellanos, you've created another flaw. You've created another hole. If you go by OPS plus, he's fourth best on this team this season. He's the best of your outfielders this season. If you get rid of Nick Castellanos at the deadline, now you have to find someone who is at least that as well, plus fill in the other holes. Why create another thing for it? Is he a perfect player? No, not even close. Not even close. But
the thought all along here is like, oh, go out and get a center fielder. And that's it. Like, that's the thing. That's what the thing you're going to do. Because, like, look, let's talk about making a meaningful improvement to this offense. What does this look like? Or is that just roll with me here for a second?
Okay.
And I'm not saying like I'm trading the guy like dead set on it. I don't even know what you could do to make that trade. How much money would you have to give? Probably 20 of the 30 million left or so. I was surprised this week about like the Castellanos like rallying cry from a lot of the fans. Like, I got to be honest with you. I'm tired of this guy. I don't think he's that good. He is a bad defender. Like, I know, like 400 straight games without an error. It's because he can't get to anything. And he made a nice catch the other night. And baseball is a funny game. And I'm not saying that like he stinks. I'm not saying that at all. I'm the guy that was banging the drum to bring him here. Like, I get all of it. But like, seriously, where are you making the upgrade? Everyone wants the bat to make this offense better. It's not coming behind the plate. It's not coming at first base for a variety of reasons. They're not going to sit down Stott. I know he's gotten a little bit hot here lately. I just don't think they're going to give up on him. I don't think they're going to take Bryson Stott off the field or ship him out and say, like, second baseman is the bad upgrade. Not happening. It's not happening at shortstop. Everyone's in love with Bohm all of a sudden. No, he's hitting 320 since May 1st. Okay, great. Well, you're not going to take him off the field. So where's it going to come from? It's going to come from the outfield, right? And everyone's like, well, it's either center or it's left. It's center or it's left. Well, who gives a shit? Left, center, right. None of them are good enough. So why can't you just say, like, you know what? Take him off the books, get your 10 million back, go get a corner outfielder, play Marsh and Kemp out and left. You know, like why not? It's all interchangeable to me. It's all interchangeable to me. I don't know.
Well, I think that there's still some value offensively.
Like, why can't you go like Marsh and Rojas in center? Like, let's just do it, right? It's great. Marsh and Johan Rojas is the greatest defensive center fielder of all time, right? Just ask Phillies Twitter. Brandon Marsh is swinging the bat well. He hit a couple outs last night, but Marsh has been really good since May 1. And, he, you know, that ball he drove to the opposite field, that was one of his better swings I've seen all year, right? Yeah. Against a guy in Cabrera who was dealing last night. So, like, he's coming around. So just let those guys platoon in center. You can do the Kepler-Kemp thing in left, and then, boom, right field's your guy. What's the difference is my point.
I hear what you're saying, but
and it's not Crawford, man. It's not.
No. Yeah, I know. And a good point by Broken Bell Network that he still needs time. Because he's hitting, still hits everything into the ground, which does not translate in the majors. The difference is, Bob, that if you're going out and getting an upgrade, right? An offensive upgrade, because that's really what it comes down to. You got to bolster the lineup. The upgrade is less offensively replacing Castellanos than it is replacing your center field platoon or your left field platoon. That's the difference. So, like, why, if baseball's all about improving on the margins, and that's really what it is, right? It's all about improving on the margins. Why would you give yourself a smaller margin by replacing the guy who is offensively more productive in the outfield than the other two positions when you need to upgrade? If you're going to do that, you upgrade one of the other two. And I agree with you. Marsh has been really good lately. He still can't hit lefties. Can't. And I'm going to still bang the drum that I don't want Johan Rojas playing in the playoffs if you're facing a left-handed pitcher.
I mean, obviously,
I don't.
You're not going to get any pushback from me there. Yeah.
Right. I don't want that. Right. So I'd rather you get something that's better there. Right. That's somebody that can hit. You're going to face lefties in the playoffs. I would rather somebody who can hit lefties there.
I just got to say this because this is probably the takiest conversation that I've ever brought up or that I brought up this year. But I just listened to this for 3 days. Was Rob Thompson emasculated by Nick Castellanos? And I want you to give your thoughts on that because mine don't matter. I'm not around it every day. You know the clubhouse dynamics better than I do. I stopped knowing it in 23, right? So I'm going to give you a chance to kind of break that down. But I just want to give something different here that I haven't heard the last 3 days. And he's surprised, I guess, that he's not a good defender. I tweeted out the other day, you go outs above average, StatCast, jumps on balls, defensive run save. It's terrible. He's legitimately, by the numbers, one of the two worst right fielders in terms of those metrics. And across all of baseball, one of the least valuable defensive outfielders. Now, I know he catches the ball when it's hit to him, and I know that nobody can process things with any nuance whatsoever. So it's see, he made that catch the other night to end the game. He is a good defender. We love him. Those are the same people that had he missed that ball would have been he blows. So let's just set that play aside from the other night. You're talking about a guy who has a 740 OPS this season. OPS plus is 97. So he's below league average offensively. And he is, by the numbers, a bad right fielder. That's what this is. That is what this is. Now I know he's a pros pro. He's got a pedigree. At least he's not going to kill you in terms of splits left, right. You're right. He is by far their best outfielder, I guess, total package. I actually don't even know if that's true. Marsh might be a better all-around player than Nick Castellanos at this point.
By the way, his OPS plus is 104.
I was looking at Baseball Reference, and I got the wrong guy. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. 104. Okay, so he's a shade above rather than a shade below. Okay, yeah. So I don't know, man. I think if you're talking about anything goes at the deadline, let's get creative. Let's see what's out there. I wouldn't hang up the phone on that conversation. I don't know. Whatever.
I think it's too hard to move that contract at midseason. And I think it does screw with the dynamics of the clubhouse too much mid-season.
Okay, so I thought this might come up, and I'm going to keep pushing. It's Phightin Words today.
That's fine.
What clubhouse dynamic? Who cares? They haven't won, Anthony. They haven't won. We're not doing we're not doing daycare anymore. We're not doing vibes anymore. We're not doing the clubhouse players. Stubbies in here. That's been the thing all year, right?
All right. I'll give some Phightin Words back. Can I say this? I think this whole thing was blown way the hell out of proportion.
Which thing?
The whole Castellanos-Thompson thing.
I didn't even get to that. I don't even care about that. I'm talking about the player. I don't care about the Thompson-Castellanos thing at all.
That's why it's coming up, right?
It's why it's coming up, but I'm not noticed that I did not say, hey, he's a malcontent. You should get him out of here. That is not part of my argument. I don't care about that. I'm glad that there's some friction. That's good.
Yes. And it happens more than people realize. And it happens more than people realize in every sport, in every team, in every city in North America. It happens. This is what it is. And I felt that Castellanos said it best yesterday when he was finally talking about it after calming down. And he said, look, we're two guys, two men coming to work with the same goal of trying to get something done. And sometimes it's going to get emotional. And there's emotion and passion's a good thing. And we're all trying to get the same thing done. And that's it. Everything's good. We put it behind us. You watch on TV, you've seen them in the dugout. They're talking to each other again. It's not like they're ignoring each other. It's fine. And I think that this became a talking point that didn't need to come up. And I think that's what's creating the whole notion of, well, let's just get rid of him then.
No, but so that's the thing. For at least from I'm not saying that other people don't feel that way. It's not, oh well, now he's kind of showing up the manager. There's an issue with the manager. Let's get him out of here. When I talk about the clubhouse dynamic, I just mean okay, To be fair, like this team's won a lot of games, and I feel like it's a kind of unfortunate. And I get why, and I understand why fans have processed it this way, because they have not achieved the ultimate goal, and they've had some pretty bad flameouts here in these postseasons. But when I say clubhouse dynamic, I don't mean any friction between Castellanos and Thompson. I just mean like, oh, the Phillies clubhouse is so tight, and it's such a good clubhouse, and like you wouldn't want to move him because of that. Like, I don't care about that anymore.
Yeah,
like,
and this all right. So I'll push back on that a little bit. I do think that matters in a clubhouse when you have a group, and he is part of the core group.
So do you think?
No doubt he is, right?
I'll let you go. Yeah.
So when you have that, and you're successful, you're a first place team. You have the 4th best record in baseball, and you really aren't far away from having the best record in baseball, right? And you have a guy that's part of the core, has been part of the group for all this time, and they are all in this together, trying to do this one last time as a group together. And then all of a sudden, you're going to rip that guy, one of those guys, out of that mix and say, yeah, we're going to upgrade him, when there are other spots that are certainly more upgradable. I think that causes a lot of friction between the organization and the players. I think that there's something to be said for how the players feel about their group and how the organization treats their group. And if you're pulling somebody out of a core that they feel is very integral to that core, that's going to make for more negative feelings inside the clubhouse. And that's the dynamic that I'm talking about, regardless of the way he's playing.
So to me, it's interesting. And again, like, I don't know if a deal exists. I don't know if there's a team that would give 15 of 30 million. And you're certainly not going to get anything back player wise. What you're doing is freeing up cash and opening a hole. So you would have to have a corresponding move in this scenario, right? Like, anytime you throw out the trade stuff, it's always like, okay, you want to get rid of somebody, you want to move off of them. Who are you replacing them with? Right. So like, this is all under the presumption that there would be somebody that you could slot in and go get and make this work and free up the cash and build your team for next year, free up the 20 million going into 26. You got a guy all of a sudden from the left side and Ranger Suarez, who looks like Cy Young. We're all just ready to like not bring back here anymore. Like, well, that could help with that problem. There's a lot of different moving parts to this. But when we talk about this, I'll defer to you because you've been around locker rooms and clubhouses for 25 years or however long it's been. You know it. And I only know it to a degree. So I would never sit here and say that, like, listen, man, I don't care what you think. Like, I do care what you think because you have that intimate knowledge. I guess what some fans and myself in this particular situation would counter with is just like, let them be mad. Like, let them, like, do you think the Phillies are going to go into the tank? Like, this isn't rhetorical. This is a question. Do you think that this group of guys, these veteran guys who are trying to win, if they were given a scenario where they moved off of him and they felt like on August 1st, the team was better, even though they like him, and even though he's a core guy in that core, that they would be like, you traded him though? We're not going to go out and go for it now. Like, that to me is
no, I don't think that at all. But what I do think happens in those cases, I think you get onto a very slippery slope in the sense that, okay, you think the team might be better, but as soon as the first sign of adversity shows up after that point, that's when things go bad, right? So you better damn well hit the ground running August. If you do something like that, August 1st, you better damn well hit the ground running and not have that adversity crop up. And where the lineup's not hitting, or the replacement's not hitting, or the replacement makes a mistake, or whatever. Like, those things cannot happen because that will crater the clubhouse. Whereas if you just go status quo, improve somewhere else, I think that it's a little bit easier to get through a difficult time at that point where you haven't destroyed the core. Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't move on at some point from Nick Castellanos. I think this upcoming offseason is an ideal time to get away from Castellanos. 1 year, 20 million left on that contract. Probably only have to eat about 10 of it, right? Maybe even a little bit less, maybe 8. And you could probably move that contract and you could use that money elsewhere. I think that's the time to do it. Doing it now in the middle of a season where the team's playing well, is at the top of the division, one of the better records in the sport, and you're going to say, yeah, we're going to blow up the core at this point. That is really where you are tempting fate. And I don't think that Dave Dombrowski, as a veteran general manager, president, baseball operations, whatever that he is, would do that because I think he understands that dynamic.
Fair enough. I'll just close with this. He is their best offensive outfielder. You are right. He is on pace for 15 home runs and 35 walks this season.
Yeah.
The one thing, and now let's get to the Rob Thompson part of it. The one thing that annoys me about this is this guy has a real pedigree. Like, you go to his baseball reference page and you're like, this guy's been a good hitter for a long time. And he was a high profile guy before he got to the major leagues. Like, he's always been a dude, right? And it has not gone according to plan here, but he hasn't been dismal. Like, he's had some moments with this team, and he's helping them win baseball games at times this season. But when I look at those numbers and then I look at the defensive metrics, it's just like, there's a fine line between, like, I'm a confident professional baseball player and I believe in myself and I want to be out there, and also, like, not understanding entirely, like, what you are. Like, you're on pace for 15 home runs, and maybe you aren't as bad as a defender as, like, the numbers say you are, but, like, you're not a good one. So, like,
right.
I feel like we're, like, detached from reality a little bit about what he is at this point. Like, I want to tread lightly here, but, like, this guy isn't, I think, what he thinks he is in the moment. Like, maybe he's got more in the tank and he gets red hot and finishes with 24 home runs and, like, awesome. Not saying he's not going to, but, like, in this moment, like, these numbers aren't that good. So, like, why are you playing every day? Like, why do the Phillies owe it to you to be in the lineup every day for 9 innings every game? Like, my only problem with the Thompson thing this week was that he put him back out there late in the game the other night, and, like, he made the catch, and that's awesome. But, like, they probably should have been taking him out of the game in April.
Yeah, and I guess what I would say to that is, and I don't know this because Rob does not share strategy with us when we talk to him, but based on what I see him do, he's only going to make that move if Castellanos isn't about to come up or is close to coming back up again in the next inning. Like, if he's anywhere from 1 to 5 batters, 1 to 6 batters away, he's staying in the game. He has to be 2 innings away from batting again to take him out and make that defensive replacement. And so that's the times that he's done it. That's when he's done it.
Yeah.
So I really think that that's what it comes down to. So when it happens the other night that he stays into the game, it's not like, oh, it's the same situation as it was the night that he pulled him. So that's the one thing that I can say.
I hear you.
Right? I mean, that's the one. So, like, I think that's how.
Do you think it was about the baseball, though, or do you think he was like, I'm going to leave him out there? Like, I don't want to throw more gasoline on this conversation, this fire. Like, was there more of a human consideration to it?
No, I think that it was strategic. I don't think that he's sitting there saying, "Oh, let's just let him out there and I don't want to deal with it anymore." Like, I don't think that's Thompson. I think Rob.
Can I frame this in a different way? It's sort of a shame that the Phillies or that the manager is like, I want to make sure I don't make a defensive replacement if my 740 OPS right fielder is coming up. Like,
well, because who's the better hitter?
That's my thing, though. It's
right.
I'm not saying, like, that is his best option, and, like, I get it. It's a shame that that's the situation, though. Like, we're not talking about leaving Juan Soto in the game. Like, we're talking about
right. And to be honest,
big average.
And to be honest, Juan Soto's range is not all that much better than his defensive
metrics stink too this year.
Right, but the difference.
But I mean, from an offensive standpoint, like, it's not like, oh, I'm missing that bat. It's
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the conundrum that managers go through. You sit there and say, all right, well, I have a lead, so defensively it would be better to not have this guy on the field. But if something else happens where they tie the game or take the lead, and it has nothing to do with his defense in the outfield, and then he's got to come up to bat next inning, and now all of a sudden I got a guy batting with an OPS of under 600 in that spot, that hurts me more. And so they're trying to weigh what is more valuable to them. Yeah. And they try to think if they're playing 4D chess, right? That's what they're trying to do. And sometimes it's stupid. Sometimes you sit there and go, well, yeah, duh, you want to have the defense in this spot. But sometimes you go, okay, it's close enough. 1-run game, maybe I do want to keep the offensive bat in there. So that's kind of what they're debating. And if there was at least a usable another outfielder that you sit there and go, oh yeah, well that guy, if we come up in a spot where I need him to hit, gives me a chance to do something. Yeah. Right? Well, okay, then I'll make the change. But right now, your fourth outfielder is freaking Johan Rojas. You don't have that guy. So now that's what I think they're going to trade for. I think they're going to trade for a fourth outfielder. If you want my honest opinion, I think that's what's coming.
So the Phillies deadline is going to be a fourth outfielder that takes Otto Kemp, I guess, the fan favorite, out of the mix because he'll hit from the right side, surely. Yeah. They're going to go get a mid-level reliever, and then they're going to convert 2 of their starting pitchers to bullpen arms. And that's your 2025 Phillies down the stretch.
They might do one other move, but yeah, that's pretty close to it, Bob. I'd say you've probably nailed it about 90%.
I get it. I understand it. I'm just thinking about the fans here. I see the 634 people watching this live right now, hearing that going like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is there anything else I'm missing on this Castellanos Thompson conversation that hasn't already been said? Because I mean, I think for me, you boil it down to some people hate Rob Thompson. Anything the guy does, he's a moron. And this week he was basically cucked by Nick Castellanos, and he's lost all authority and all of this stuff. And I've heard all of that, right?
It's stupid. It's stupid. It's a stupid narrative.
And then some people are like, well, Castellanos, you got to get him out of here if he's going to disrespect them. Like, I don't. That's why I didn't want to have that conversation.
And I'll be honest with you,
he needs to play better.
I'm dreading going down to the ballpark today and know that there will be every TV station will be there. Representatives from the radio stations will be there. And the majority of the questions are going to be about that. That's what they're going to ask Rob Thompson about. That's what they're going to ask Nick Castellanos about, because they weren't in Florida, right? They weren't in Miami when this all took place. So of course they got to get their sound bites for their TV and radio coverage. And I don't want to be a part of it. That is irrelevant. It's stupid. How many times have anybody had a disagreement with their boss?
You know what today would have been? It would have been an all-time Howard Eskin day.
Yes, it would have been an all-time Howard Eskin day today. It absolutely would have been. And thankfully, that won't be happening today. But it'll still be enough of it. You're still going to have your TV people there that are going to ask those questions. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And it's the least important conversation piece with this team. You're playing the Mets for first place in the National League East. Like, this is a fun series. That's what this whole weekend should be about. And today's pregame availability with the media is going to be about Nick Castellanos and Rob Thompson and this created soap opera that everybody has that it's to me is irrelevant.
Yeah. Anything else that we missed this week that needs to be talked about? Certainly Ranger Suarez has been phenomenal. I think one of the little talking points I had, because we've went long on other things here, but hey, another 5 starts like that. Is he an NL All-Star this year? Like,
I think you can start thinking about both him and Christopher Sanchez as NL All-Stars.
Well, I guess not 5 starts. It would be fewer than that. But a couple more starts like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of them are on the cusp. Really, I mean, Suarez has had one bad start.
Yeah,
one. The rest of his starts have been fantastic.
He's very hard to evaluate big picture. I think that someone will pay him, right? Like, he's going to get that deal. He's arguably, when healthy, one of the 5 best left-handed starting pitchers in baseball. You look at those first few months that he had in 24 and then what he's doing right now, and you go like, some team is going to pony up for that.
Yep.
If you're the Phillies and you have all these options, I know Wheeler, after 27, probably done. Nola, you don't really know what level he's going to pitch at for the duration of the contract. I don't know that you're ready to make Mick Abel a top of the rotation starter, or if he's even here post deadline. Painter, certainly he's their best pitching prospect in 20 years, but is he going to be the guy? Like, do you just trade away 30-year-old premium starting, or not? I'm sorry, not sign back a premium starting pitcher like this? if you're the Phillies, it's just a real tough spot to be
Well,
in.
what do you think he gets paid, Bob? And the
team would want to be like,
the term is important on this.
I think the teams will want to be on the shorter end with him. So maybe 4 years, I'm thinking. Maybe he gets 5 from someone that's like really, really desperate. But I'll say 115 feels like about it to me. Like, what's that, about 27 a year, something like in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 125 if like someone really wants him. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what he gets.
And now ask yourself, let's play that scenario. Let's say 125, because that's where I was going with my prediction. If you're the Phillies, are you giving him 125? Knowing what you know about Ranger.
Well, being like up close and having the visibility into who and what he is, like, check the stats are the stats. He's a great dude. He's a gamer. He can pitch in big spots. That he's a team guy. He'll do what you want him to do. He's like all of the things that you'd want in a guy from a personality and character makeup standpoint. So that's a big plus.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, he's inconsistent. He has injury issues. Even when he's been back and pitching, he's struggled at times because of the lingering injury issues or whatever, the lack of consistency. And that's a huge check mark against him for a guy that you're paying 25 a year to, when you're already paying a guy who's ascending into his very shortly from now into his mid-30s, 25 a year. So it's tough to double up those contracts. I think if all things are equal, they probably wish they didn't do the Nola deal, knowing what they know now, and probably would do the Suarez deal in a heartbeat. And I might be wrong about that, but I don't think so. I don't think the Phillies are going to do it. I'd be surprised if the Phillies did it.
I would too. Yeah, I don't think they would do it. I don't think they would do 125. I think that they would, if he was willing to take a short-term deal. And
you think they would do 100?
No, I don't think they do 4. I think they do 3. I think they would do a 3-year deal. Is what I think the Phillies would do.
You think that's like 375?
They might go a little bit higher, maybe like 80, maybe 80.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a team out there that will go.
Give him more. Yeah. I agree. I think that there will be too, and that's why I don't think.
And if I'm him,
you take it.
I love Philadelphia, but it's easy to say like, oh well, he's so important here and he's so loved here, and get Red October and good luck getting that and wherever. Someone's handing you an additional 2 years of security between $20 and $30 million a year.
You're probably taking it.
You probably take that.
Yeah, I agree. So no, I don't think the Phillies would do 125. I think that they look at Ranger Suarez health-wise very similarly to the way that they looked at Zach Eflin health-wise. And while it would have, in retrospect, would Zach Eflin have been a better choice than Taijuan Walker? Yes. But you could at least understand why they didn't go that path with Zach Eflin, because they were concerned about the injuries. And I think that you look at Ranger Suarez, and I think that they're going to look the same way. And they may bring somebody else in, and in the long run, you might sit back and like, oh man, they never should have gotten rid of Ranger Suarez. Maybe not, but they're gonna use their self-evaluation to make that determination, more so than they are going to be, let the emotional aspect of keeping a guy that they really like make that determination.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, give us a prediction for this weekend.
Phils win the series 2 out of 3. I think they win tonight. I really like tonight because it's Wheeler against whoever.
It is Blade Tidwell.
Oh, they announced the starter.
Tidwell, who is making his second career regular season appearance. He's a 24-year-old. His first one did not go so well. He enters this game with an 0-1 record, a 14.73 ERA, 3 2/3 pitch, 2 strikeouts, a 3.27 WHIP. That was against the Cardinals on May 4th.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to slowly talk to get to this. But you have Zach Wheeler going on the mound here for the Phillies, and that would make the Phillies tonight a -187 favorite.
Yeah. Take the Phils.
Blade Tidwell. Here comes 6 shutout from Blade Tidwell. LOL. It's my guy. It is absolutely on the table. It is on the table. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So I like them tonight. And I like them Sunday. Tomorrow's the one where
so what do you think? They get to Abel a little bit, maybe, that Mets offense? And
yeah, well, not just that. It's not that I think that they get to Abel. I think that you're starting to see a little bit with Mick Abel that he doesn't have the length that he had in that first start against the Pirates. And I think Mick Abel is a 5-inning starter. And then you got to go into the bullpen for multiple innings. And I think when the Phillies have to go 4 innings out of the bullpen, that's when they are vulnerable.
Yeah, they'll need to score tomorrow night. And Griffin Canning's kind of slowly coming back to earth a little bit. He got off to an amazing start. I mean, after every one of his starts, I would text you and be like, Griffin Canning? Like,
yeah, I know.
So he's starting to regress a little bit. But, yeah, I do think that that's a little bit of a concern if you're the Phillies and you're going to need to find 12 outs from your bullpen. One thing that is a little interesting, and they won the game last night. They won 3 out of 4, and they're coming home with Zach Wheeler on the mound. And I guess you expect him to give you at least 7 tonight. But you pushed Sanchez last night. That's one thing I want to say, because this could be a factor this evening. You used Kerkering. You probably won't have him tonight.
Well, you need him tonight is the question. I think that's why they used him last night. I think that there was a debate, right? Like I think that they were really thinking about it after the 8th inning of going another inning with Sanchez. And then I think that they ultimately decided to go with Kerkering because it was a close game. It was a save opportunity. Give him that chance in that spot. And knowing you might not have him tonight, but you look at it and say, well, we got Zach Wheeler and the Mets are throwing whoever.
Yeah.
And we feel better about that than rather than save Kerkering and risk Sanchez another inning. I think that that's why they did it. And by the way, as Armand points out, Tidwell got the call because Hagenman was going to be the opener tonight.
Bishop Eustace, another Bishop Eustace guy.
Yeah, Bob's got a memory of Hagenman pitching in South Jersey. But yeah, I think that's why they made that call last night. But yeah, I think you got to use your less desirable arms in the bullpen tomorrow, and I think that's why that's the game that the Mets get.
Okay, very good. One last thing, Bob. Beanball War last night in out west. For those of you who didn't stay up late, Dodgers Padres. Padres hit Ohtani. Dodgers responded by hitting Fernando Tatis. Mike Schilt was the first one out of the dugout, flipping out, screaming at the Dodgers for it. There was a bench clearer last night. You got to love rivalries in sports. Something, I don't know. Maybe this is just me being the old guy, but I love a good beanball war in baseball. I do like it. Where it's like, you and about 25% of Phillies fans might wake up this weekend and become Padres fans.
Like, I like that a little. I'm not saying people should be headhunting in baseball or throwing at each other, to try and hurt somebody. But you know what? You're going to hit my guy. I'm going to hit your guy, and I'm going to pitch in on your guy or whatever. Make them uncomfortable. I like the uncomfortableness of batting against a pitcher. I do. I think that there's value in it. And for the people who want to take that out of the game completely, I push back against that. That's entertainment to me. How about for you?
It was fun. And that was a fun series to watch too. And Padres hanging around. The Dodgers, man, you know what I actually thought? I'll give you my take on this. It was fun to watch. That's not additive to the conversation. I kind of feel like that the Padres look at the Dodgers the way that teams used to look at the Christian Laettner Duke teams. You're really good. And there's the pedigree, but you guys are soft. And I know they just won a championship. I get all that. I just think that there's if you're the Padres, you're like, yeah, we know you're the Dodgers and you spend all your money and Shohei Ohtani. And every time Shohei Ohtani has a 2-hit game, Jeff Passan goes on Twitter and, oh my God, that's the first time that. I just think that the Padres are we're not going to do this. They're the right team. I don't love the Padres. I hope that they get into a playoff series with the Dodgers.
They had a chance last year.
That will be theater.
Yeah,
let's do it again. That's the thing. It's it's building now. That happened. Let's do it again. See what that looks like.
I like Mike Schilt as a manager. I don't think the Cardinals ever should have gotten rid of him. I think he has a certain way about him that is endearing to fan bases and endearing to his players. He's the first one out of the dugout. Not a player, nobody else, I'm sure they're all yelling and screaming, but that was the thing that I loved, is he came right out of the dugout as soon as Tatis got hit and starts F-bombing the hell out of the Dodgers. That's a leader, man. And that's what I like about him. I like that. The Padres fans might be a little soft, but that out in San Diego, but that's a manager that I would play for. And I like I like the way things are going in that series between those two teams. So hopefully you're right. Hopefully they do see each other again in the postseason.
All right. Well, get us out of here.
All right. Well, it's that time to go into the weekend. We want everyone to have a great weekend. Phillies, Mets. It's going to be electric down at Citizens Bank Park. There will be some New York fans down there. It'll be fun. Have a good time when you're down there. And we'll be back on Monday to break it all down and to talk about the most important series since 1980 between the Phillies and the Mets this weekend. In the interim, we want to thank you for tuning into the Phightin Words. Be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, wherever you get your podcasts. The very best place, of course, to watch us every week or twice a week is right here on YouTube. Click that thumbs up, ring the bell. Make sure you never miss a show. You'll get an alert every time Bob and I go live. If you're listening in the podcast feed and you want to find us on YouTube, easy. Go to youtube.com/@Phightin Words. So for Bob Wankel, I'm Anthony SanFilippo saying thanks for tuning into Phightin Words. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you on Monday.